we're out of time.
Next to Judy. Thank you very much for coming along on such a beautiful day in East Gippsland. Beautiful bandstand. We're going to start proceedings with a very appropriate welcome to country. It's great to see Auntie Madge. A relationship for a long time, 40 years I think.
45.
Long time. It's great to see. Yeah. It's great to see Auntie Madge with us, who's going to give us a welcome.
I'm afraid I got to read off the book because I'm looking at all these good looking swords from forgetting what I got to say. Good morning everyone.
So about 10 bullets.
My name is Madge Selby, an elder of Cannock County. I am pleased to be here today representing the traditional owners of Cannock County to help you celebrate and recognise Gippsland that aims to improve the health and life expectancy of our Aboriginal communities. We have across Gippsland and East Gippsland many Aboriginal sportspersons for over 50 years in sports such as football, basketball, cricket, soccer and netball. We are proud of their achievement and sporting roles. I've got to tell you a little story about myself first. If you don't want to listen, you're quite welcome to leave. I was born in August and I got my first job at Masters Hotel in August when I was about 19 and put in 3 years there. Went down the bottom hotel and worked there for about 3 years. Got more money to go to the cafe and worked there for about 4 years. Then I left and got married and went away for 10 years and come back to Bairnsdale and worked at 754 Primary School in Bairnsdale for 21 years. And I'm here today, and that's it. I would like to pay my respects to our elders past and present. Also pay my respect to elders from other communities that may be here today. I would also like to acknowledge named dignitaries that are present. Honourable Tim Ball, National Aboriginal Affairs. There are 5 clans within the Gippsland Nation. We are the oldest known living culture in the world. We are very proud of this fact. We have Aboriginal sites in East Gippsland dating over 25,000 years, New Guinea 11. On behalf of the Gunai people, I would like to welcome you here today and wish you all a very happy meeting. Thank you.
Actually, some of those places in Orbost that you mentioned, I happen to be aware of. Because, you know, it's okay. I was an Orbost boy, so never did I frequent the bottom or the top pubs, but I certainly did. Thanks very much, Auntie Madge, for that welcome. And I'd like to pay my respects to the traditional landowners and pay my respects to their elders past and present, and my respects to the members of the Aboriginal community. It's terrific to see you. Without any further ado, I'm going to introduce the Deputy Chair of the Gippsland Board, John Brooks, who's been kind enough to give up his time to say a few words today. John's been involved with Gippsland for some 20 years. In fact, last year was awarded the first life membership of the Gippsland organisation. So it's been a great friend and supporter of Gippsland for many, many years. And he's going to say a couple of words. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Barry. Thanks, Auntie Madge. Welcome, everybody. Distinguished guests and interested persons that are supporting us here today. Welcome to you all. Yes, standing in for Ricky. Ricky's away doing as we promote and give support, being active in recreation. We hope that he's successful in that. He's elsewhere in the country. Personal and perhaps selfish note, I hope he's really successful in bringing back some fish. If he can't make it, he's a bit disappointed. So I'd like to also, of course, acknowledge the traditional owners of the land and pay my respects to elders past and present, those who want to give done. Give support if I can preach to the converted, because the crowd is pretty much a friendly one, and just tell you a little bit about what we've done. An organisation that's been incorporated in multiple organisations since 1992, getting involved with funding bodies and major sporting associations, state sporting associations throughout Victoria, key sport and recreation organisations, health sectors and Aboriginal community. Our role is the grassroots levels to get involved there and help support the clubs in that area. So it's not the high level stuff, but it's the grassroots stuff to get people involved, to have them access to active recreation, access for everybody, so very inclusive, to create inclusive and welcoming clubs and promote health through sport. So today's going to be very important for us to do all of those things. We're fortunate to have had really good relationships with our funding bodies and to do those aims and to do that work. So we've got many programs that we run, and to run through them all will be boring you to tears, I reckon. So mention the four main ones that really keep us active: healthy sporting environments, funded by Vic Health, and then access for all abilities, and regional sport and recreation, funded by Sport Rec Victoria, and then the Good Sports program funded by Vic Health. So with those, today we add to that. That's the important part of our day, the state government's joint development program strategy, and in Gippsland it's going to be called Deadly Sport Gippsland. It's a name we think will connect with the community for a startup. It'll allow us to continue the work that's been done before with other programs that Vic Health had us involved in the community around the entire area of Gippsland. Of course, we cover all of Gippsland and the local government areas of the 6 local government areas throughout Gippsland. We have a terrific relationship with them. So what we'll be doing with this, and I don't want to cut out the thunder of David and Bryn about their program, but we'll be endeavouring to build on our relationships with sporting associations. To see Peter there too. I should mention that supporting the funding that we're getting through the health department this year is Gippsland Medicare Local, and also supporting the program with regards to small grants for Aboriginal community sporting events. That will really begin to strengthen you up. Very pleased to have on board here as well. So we'll be delivering a population-based health and social media campaign to attract the Aboriginal community to the events that we get up and running, to have a real influence on improving lifestyle factors, so we can increase the longevity of the Aboriginal community throughout Gippsland. That's the main aim. So with that, I don't want to take too much more time, so thank you very much for your interest today. I hope that you enjoy the day and we'll stay for some questions later.
Thank you. Really appreciate your support and your comments. Very well placed. I have a long list of apologies, and I'm going to read them out really quickly. Members of Parliament: Darren Chester, Peter Ryan, Gary Blackwood, Danny O'Brien. Local Government: Jim Fawcett, Scott Rossetti, Neil Rankin, Sharon Gibson, and all mayors of their respective municipalities, and Paul Bartley, the CEO of West Coast. The Gippsport Board: Ricky Ross, Gabrielle McBain, Carol Boothman, Anne-Marie Casey. Gippsport Staff: Jean Green, Dawn Martin, Dan Poynton. Department of Health: Marcus Hallwood. Gippsland Medicare Local: Colin Bono. And other friends of Gippsport: Leanne Stedman, Julie Lomas, and David Newman. So all those people couldn't be with us today. For those who are able to be here, thank you again for coming along and displaying an interest in this particular program. And it's really appropriate that we have with us the Minister for Aboriginal Affairs, Tim Hall, who happens to be the local member for East Gippsland as well. And for those of you, you'll all know this. Now, I mean it quite seriously, a very, very supportive person in regard to community sport. Not only because he has a passion for community sport, but because he understands it. And it's terrific to have you here, Tim, to launch this particular Deadly Sport Gippsland, as we've called it. So would you please just welcome Tim up, and he's going to say a few words for us, and then he's going to also press a button that's going to show a video. Is that right, David?
I didn't tell him that, but hopefully he did.
So please welcome Tim. Thank you, Tim.
Thanks Barry, thanks John, thanks Auntie Madge again for another great welcome to country, and welcome to all of the different groups and agencies that are here today. I will speak very quickly about the Cool and Ballot strategy. It is a state government strategy that focuses on improvements in health for all Aboriginal Victorians. $61 million that's been spent in a whole range of areas right across the length and breadth of the state. And we talk in the various levels of government. We have a strategy called Closing the Gap. And it's a strategy that is focused on closing the gap between Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people in a whole range of areas. It is over-representation in the justice system. It is educational outcomes, and of course it includes health outcomes, where the life expectancy of Aboriginal people is far lower than non-Aboriginal people. And strategies like this are aimed at addressing those problems and closing that gap. Through the Cool and Ballot strategy, there are 6 programs being funded across the length and breadth of Gippsland, and the Deadly Sport program is obviously one of those. And I was just having a bit of a read about the programs, and the strategy that you are embarking on in relation to the campaign on digital and social media is very, very important, and I'll tell you why I think it's really important. In my electorate office, I get an enormous amount of correspondence. If I'm getting correspondence, generally speaking, from people over 60 years of age, it's usually done in a lovely handwritten letter. If I'm getting correspondence from people generally aged between 35 to 50, it is usually an email. It's a straight email to me. Or if I'm getting inquiries or feedback or questions from anyone between 15 and about 30 to 35, a high majority of those are Facebook. And that strategy is fairly clear in the way that messages come through to the office. So when we're talking about health strategies and we're talking about involvement in sport, going through social media is a fantastic way to get out your message, and the statistics are mind-boggling as to how far messages go and how far messages are spread. The importance of sport in relation to health outcomes is obviously very, very significant. And it's not only significant for health outcomes, the benefits of leading a healthy and active lifestyle and the messages that go with it, but it's also it's more important for our kids, whether they be Aboriginal or non-Aboriginal kids, just to become better people. And sport, I reckon, is a great crash course in life. You learn how to win, you learn how to lose, you learn about getting dropped out of a team, you learn how to celebrate success humbly, be gracious in defeat. All those things that prepare you quite well for life are involved in a sporting club. And people who are involved in sporting clubs not have better health outcomes, but another important aspect is underrepresented in the justice system. Kids who play sport go on to be generally good members of society, heavily underrepresented in the justice system. And you think about the reasons for that, and the reasons that everyone in here would be familiar with. When you're in the cricket rooms or the softball rooms and you swear, you've got old Jeannie Marion who comes along and says, we don't do that here. It's a message that you get. And in a lot of cases we're dealing with kids from broken families where they don't have a father figure or a mother figure in their life. I can remember one of the messages, I'll remember this till the day I die. He's sitting out on the floor of the Swan Reach footy grounds, footy sheds, and it was a bit of a thing in those days when you took the strapping off your ankles, you'd roll it into a ball and try and scone the bloke sitting across the other side of the footy rooms, and that was funny. And I remember doing this one day, and a fellow who had played about 250 games came along and said, hey mate, it's tough enough getting volunteers to clean up the rooms. How about not contributing to the problem? Clean up your act and go and get that stuff and put it in the bin. Oh right, never thought about that. Which you don't when you're 17, 16. It's a great crash course in life. You think about the person who's going through a few problems in their life, and they're doing things a bit tough for whatever reason. When you're young, it can be your love of your life's just left you. That happens about 8 times when you're young. It can be something that's happened personally in your family situation. When you're involved in a sporting club, you've generally got someone you can talk to, someone will come over say, hey mate, what's up? You're not, I can see you're not travelling too well, what's on your mind? They're the sorts of things that are important about being in a sporting club and being involved in that sporting environment. It just prepares you better in life, it provides a lot more support, and you just can't put a dollar figure on the benefits that a sporting environment brings to you. And now I'm finding myself around the place up at the cricket sheds being that cranky old fella who's pulling the young blokes in the line for not packing up their gear, not putting stuff away, not cleaning up after themselves. And it goes through from generation to generation. And in another 20 years' time, I'll turn into Tony Claridge and I'll be really cranky at the young blokes all the time. But everyone in here has been involved in sport, and as I think John said, we're preaching to the converted in here. But if we can get participation in sport up amongst our young generation, and I don't care whether it's dancing, circus skills, I don't care whether it's cricket, footy, lacrosse, hockey, whatever, traditional or non-traditional sports, just bringing people together, especially our young people, to encourage, help and support each other. I tell you what, it goes a long way to solving a lot of the problems we've got in society in general. It goes an enormous way to solving those problems. So, with the deadly sport Gippsland, that I know has a strong focus on our Aboriginal people, the benefits of this program will be far beyond those of Aboriginal people, and hopefully across social media, everybody involved in sport will see these messages, hear these messages, and hopefully it just clicks that little spot in people's minds that hopefully, well, I might go and give that a try, I might go and give that a go, I might get my kids to do it. I've tried it all. I've got a son who's just not interested in any sport whatsoever, complete opposite to me. And after trying 15, 20 different things, he's finally found his little niche with taekwondo, and he loves it. And he gets up there and he talks to people, and I've got a changed kid since he's been involved in that for 2 years. It wasn't even on my radar. Martial arts, couldn't care less about it, but it's his go. And the role models that he's got in there with blokes like Jimmy Allen, who we've played a lot of cricket with, and Glenn Peacock and those guys, some of you will know them. Lockie, my son, now looks up to those guys, and he's learning off them. So that's the stuff that's important. I won't grab it on for too long, but let's get the message out that we just can't get enough kids and adults and people involved in sport. And right through to our older people playing goals, it's just great socially, and great for them to get together and have a focus and an interest, not only in life, but create friendships and enjoy themselves while we're upright and breathing. It is so important. So anyway, thanks for the opportunity to come, and I wish you every success, and I'm sure it will be successful. And remember, when you're tagging things in on Facebook and all that stuff, include me into it, and let's get the message out together. Thank you.
Good on you, Tim.
Technology holds up.
I don't like this stuff, it's something like that.
Keeping safe out of the water, keeping fit, keeping sun smart.
I'll go to the gym and work it out in the gym. I won't commit to the goal, to the cigarettes. I'll get as much cigarette in my life for the rest of my life. I just like the environment, just playing netball with people and stuff, and then it's like a whole family. You make those decisions in your life, and you've got to start worshipping and
obviously, as part of this program, there'll be a lot of usage, if you like, of making YouTube clips. And I know Dave, I should introduce Dave Roberts, who's the program manager, because in a moment I'm going to introduce Karina Crutch, who's the project officer for Save US. The funding that we've received from the Department of Health has enabled us to employ Karina and David full-time. Karina is based here at the Bairnsdale City Oval, just a drop kick away. What is that, a drop punt? Probably 80 or so. Or a scout kick. Away from where we are here, and David's based at Latrobe Regional Area. They have a regional-wide brief, of course, so we're really going to try very hard to get across to to Bass Coast and South Gippy and down to Druin and Warrego, of course. So clearly we've taken that brief very seriously in terms of a regional-wide program. I should mention, and this isn't on the script, it's great to have Tim Owen and Corinna Ritchie from the Department of Health with us. I should say, and I don't wish to embarrass you, Tim, but this particular program is a program that Tim has thought about and had a lot of input into over a few years now, Tim, I guess, 12 months, 8 months. And so really, there's a lot of Tim Owen around this particular program, so I just want to acknowledge that, Tim. Certainly the support that you provided to us, it's the first time we've had a partnership with the Department of Health, but the support that you provided us in developing the implementation plan, the job descriptions that we had to come up with, the program logic, both yourself and Karina have been terrific contributors to that. So I acknowledge that, and we're looking forward to a really strong partnership with the Department of Health. And as John acknowledged before, Gippsland Medicare Local, of course, being very supportive of that as well. So we appreciate that, Peter, very much indeed. Now, without any further ado, it's time to introduce you to Karina, who's been with us for a couple of months and making a fantastic contribution, not only to this program, but to the Gippsport team, as is David, of course. So Karina's just going to run through a few things in regard to basically where the project's at the moment and where we think it's going to be in the future.
Thanks, Barry. Firstly, I'd just like to thank RNH for welcome to the country earlier, and I'd also like to acknowledge elders past, present, those here today, and all other Aboriginal people with us today as well. I'm not a public speaker, so I'll try and make it quick. But most of us know the rates of chronic disease and poor health are high amongst our people. So for us, Deputy Sport Gippsland, we see low physical activity, poor nutrition and tobacco, alcohol and other drugs as factors for these high numbers. Our aim is to promote and increase numbers for people to get out and become more active, to join sporting clubs, to promote good nutrition messages and making healthy choices, and to promote tobacco cessation and to decrease alcohol and other drug usage. So we're planning on running 12-week campaigns for each of these priority areas and promote through pretty much our Facebook page and sort of Instagram, Twitter, but Facebook's been our main target. So we've been attending many community events to promote these messages and to work with event organisers around promoting events. So already we've been to a range of events, so I want a slideshow after just some photos and footage that we've got from a lot of these events. So there's been some school holiday programs, football, netball, carnival, health days, and the surfing surfing program just this week. So we're going to promote the 715 Aboriginal Health Check. So this is sort of to help identify those people at risk and to help them better manage their conditions as well. So they're a benefit to the medical centres, and they'll be able to help us evaluate what we're doing as well. So we've been around for about 3 months, I think now. So we've got about 500-600 followers on Facebook, had 1,000 views on YouTube, and got a small presence on Instagram and Twitter. So research shows that there's about 62% of Aboriginal people that are on Facebook daily. I'm a big user, and work certainly got me on there a bit more. So we're currently in the process of developing our strategic plan, and that's going to help direct us for our time ahead and looking at working with partner organisations and on promoting these health messages. We've formed a reference group, so members from across Gippsland come together, help inform directors on what we're doing, and that way they can sort of help feedback to us, you know, what they like and what they don't like, what we've been doing, or anything else I'd like to see further down the track. So next meeting's on the 26th of November at Commonwealth Hall in Moore. So if you're interested, or anyone you know might be interested, just let myself or Dave know. And so Gippsland Medicare Local has helped us with some funding for the small grants. So with that, we're sort of helping to promote and get some small sporting activities and some events happening. So if you need any assistance there, contact Dave. He's already been looking at the applications for more than myself. So we've got a video on our website, helping with those as well. Application forms, guidelines are all on there. And the next round's open at the minute, so it's closing towards the end of the month, so check them out if you like. And yeah, so don't forget to follow us on our website or Facebook. So I'm just going to put the slideshow on, so just space bar. So yeah, this is Tuesday, so we've had a 14-hour day there in Cape Conran, hanging out with the boys up there, and they've also had a lot of Bible this week as well. Well, that little fella back there was David, so he's 6. So hang on straight away.
Choppy up in East Gippsland.
It was very windy. I think I might just take the opportunity to say a few words as well, if that's all right. It wasn't on the agenda.
Certainly all right, David. You're the program manager.
Look, I think already we've seen some great benefits that's come out of this program, which has been huge, and there's lots of indirect benefits as well. So obviously we've got a direction to promote health in sport and use that, and we're certainly looking at some campaigns for next year and being more strategic around that. But some of the other benefits have just been the ability to promote a few achievements from within the Aboriginal community as well. There's been lots of people out there doing some great things. We've off to on Sunday. There's a young fella that's 15 or 16 speedboat racing out of Lake Lemaggy. So if you get the opportunity, we believe, and we're going to quote it until we get proven wrong, that he's the only Aboriginal boat racer around. And apologies if I've got the name of the sport wrong, but he's out there doing that. We've certainly got people doing karate and things that we're chasing following up as well. But it's a real opportunity to promote the achievements within the community as well. And the other big benefit that's come about through our reference group as well has been the ability to bring Gippsland together. We've got some great sporting committees that are happening down in South Gippsland with Waridi, Budgery and Arpin, Gillay Nalu, and I believe Sailor looking at setting one up as well. With the ability of our reference group, and it may mould and change over time as well, it's got the ability to start to bring that wider Gippsland Aboriginal community together to really support some events that are happening within our region as well. So there's some real added benefits that are coming out of certainly the Department of Health funding that allows us to get out there. So we'll certainly be working around some event management, helping people promote their events, not using social media, but yeah, certainly promoting the achievements of young people and putting a health message in there. And it's about the challenge for us is getting that message right, that how we promote the health message, people want to hear it. So if you've got any ideas about how we can push that health message in a way that young people and older people will actually listen to it, that'd be fantastic. But certainly already you can see that sport's a great ambassador for the health message, and something we've probably known for a long time, but we're helping to really push that message at the moment as well.
Thanks, Dave. Please put your hands together. Thank you, Karina, very much. So yeah, we're really lucky to have Karina and Dave on board on a full-time basis to carry on the good work and implement the strategy. So we're looking forward to that very much indeed. Well, that about wraps up the formalities, if you like. Thanks once again for coming along. If any of you are on the reference group, thank you very much for being part of that. If any of you are interested in joining the reference group, you're very welcome to do so. We really want to have that consultation, that communication across the region as best we can. So thanks very much for coming along. We've got some lunch here for you, and I'd just like to thank you, Tim, again. Very busy schedule. Great that you've been able to come along, and you've got a couple of busy weeks ahead of you, no doubt. And, yeah, it's all straight ahead for you, and thanks very much. So that's it for today. Thanks very much, everyone. Lunch will be served.
Thank you. Let's get